Hi there. Hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you. This is going to be a mid month check in for the sign of Sagittarius. So, if you have Sagittarius anywhere in your chart, if you vibe with Sag, maybe you are a cross watcher, this reading might resonate for you. As always, we will take what resonates and leave what does not. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that through email or form submission on my website. Wow, okay, interesting. A lot of masculine energy coming through Sag. We are not doing a specific spread today. We're not going to do like a Celtic cross. This is a mid-month check-in, so we're doing 6 cards. We're clarifying 2 at a time, and we're just seeing where the energy wants to go, what your guides want you to work on, what's blocking you, what's showing up, etc., etc. So let's dive into the Sagittarius. Bottom of the deck is your challenge, represents what you're not seeing, what you're not looking at. We've got the Page of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, the Chariot, and the Empress. Okay, interesting. I think it's interesting because the Emperor is in your challenge. The Emperor is in your spread, but the Empress is in your challenge. So for a lot of you, I feel like your challenge here is like being more creative, tapping into your divine femininity, and being able to execute some sort of plan here, but from the seat of the divine feminine. So when we talk about the divine masculine versus the divine feminine is, I always think of that song. It's an old song. I'm going to date myself. Sit still, look pretty. That's the divine feminine. It is like, I don't chase, I attract. I wait. And the divine masculine is the action taker. So that is like when we are going out and we are coming up with a plan and we are executing the plan and we are getting what we want. It feels like your reading has a lot of masculinity in it. So it feels like a big opportunity for growth in this mid-month for you to get out of your comfort zone, to go outside the box, is to be a little bit more feminine, is to embrace the feminine a little bit more. Specifically for some of you, this is interesting how it's coming through. You need to be a little bit softer. I feel like for some of you, there's almost like you're very rigid. Like there's a connection to a masculine here, or like your connection to masculinity shows up as very rigid of a connection. It's like if you think you need to be more masculine or you think you need to get something done in a masculine way, it's like you're very like, I have to do it this exact specific way or it won't work. And I feel like that's probably why the word creative came through earlier, because it feels like as you go through this month, and you have to think outside of the box a little bit, you have to get in touch with a little bit more of that heart center, a little bit more of that feminine creative center. So let's talk about it. You start with the Knight of Cups and the Emperor. So what I think is interesting off the bat here is that you don't lack love. It feels like whatever you're going after here, whatever we're talking about, you're not emotionally connected to it. Do you know what I mean here? I know that's a little bit of a mouthful. You are emotionally steeped in whatever it is that we are talking about, whatever it is that you are doing and going after this month, but at the same time, it feels like you may be being a little bit, I don't want to say stubborn, but like stubborn. Like I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. It feels like you're kind of, Virgo had a very similar message to this. You're kind of just looking at it and being like, well, if I wanted, it has to work this way. If I'm going to do it, I have to do it this way, and it has to work that way, which I think is interesting. Let's see. What are we talking about? What is this? King of Wands. So something you're really passionate about. You've got the Six of Wands, but it came out in the reverse, and the Fool. Yeah, I feel like Sag, it feels like you need to think outside of the box here. It just keeps coming through like that. King of Wands is fire sign energy. It is masculine fire energy. It's being very passionate. It's being very driven. It's being very goal-oriented. The Six of Wands in the reverse, though, I feel like you have a little bit of a fear of this not working, or it feels like maybe you haven't gotten the success you really want from whatever it is that you're looking at right now, whatever it is you're trying to get, passion project or job. There's so many different things this could be, but it feels like the general vicinity of the lesson here for you is like change the way you're approaching it, change the way you're looking at it. You know, I feel like some of you are, again, you may have Virgo in your chart. I would watch the Virgo reading because it was very similar to this. Like, it feels like you are using, I said this in the Virgo reading, one, like, you know, if you think of math, you're using one equation and you're plugging everything into this equation and expecting it to work when this is like a completely different equation that you need to use here. It feels like you're just kind of, this might be work, Six of Pentacles with the Knight of Pentacles bottom of your deck. You know, if this is work, it feels like you are plugging numbers into something in hopes that you'll get some sort of like victory out of it. But then it feels like you're getting frustrated again because you're not getting the desired result here. And I feel like the reason you're not getting the desired result is because you need to go outside the box. Okay, you really, that's like the biggest thing that I'm hearing here is like think outside the box. It feels like, yeah, I just put the deck on the Tower. In order to get the shift that you want, the change that you want here, you have to change something. What do you need to change? Let's see. I can't. I told you, I said I saw the Tower and then it came out. Sag, you have some big change. There's a big change that has to happen in order to execute this plan the way that you want. Something has to shift here. Ace of Swords. Tower, Ace of Swords is like a tough talk with yourself. Or just a tough talk with someone. It doesn't even have to be with you. Let me see. Give me one more. Okay, I'll take two more. That's fine. Seven of Cups and the Star. Yeah, I feel like for some of you here, I know this is going to sound like the way my guides are giving this to me. It's going to sound obvious, but like if you want to open a cafe, spend more time at cafes. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like some of you need to kind of immerse yourself in whatever it is that you want to get done, right? So, like, if you want to learn a language, immerse yourself in that language, immerse yourself in that culture. If you want to open a coffee shop, immerse yourself in coffee, learn about coffee. Excuse me, the burp is confirmation. You know, I feel like for a lot of you guys here, it feels like you're, okay, hear me out. This is going to sound a little mean, but my guides want me to explain this very specifically. You're lacking fundamental knowledge for whatever this is that you're trying to do. And the only way you're going to get the knowledge is by going to someone or somewhere where that knowledge is prior, like it's prior knowledge they already have. So this is like you either need to apprentice under someone or you need to watch someone. You need to, you know, to acquire the knowledge that you want here, you're going to have to find someone who's willing to disseminate that knowledge, who's willing to give you that knowledge. Whether or not that is through like a class, you take an education class, a friend helps you out a little bit, you watch YouTube videos, whatever it may be. But it feels like for some of you, it feels obvious to say that, but it's like you're doing this weird thing where you're like, oh, I want to run a coffee shop, so I'm going to go spend time as a bartender. Do you know what I mean? Like it's in the general vicinity, but like it's not translating the way that you want it to translate. And I feel like, again, this is where that femininity is coming in. You need to be a little bit more creative and you need to be a little bit more, like the way my guides are saying this to me is so funny. Jimmy a lock. I think when you Jimmy a lock, the expression is like you're fumbling with it, or like if the key is stuck, you gotta jimmy it, or maybe lock picking it. But I just feel like they want you to be a little bit more inventive here, okay? Not so, you know, well, I have to learn it this way. I can't make it up. The Emperor, again. I understand that you think that things should happen a specific way here, but the lesson you're not learning is that they're not happening that way, so you have to change. Okay? It feels like the example I'll give you is like, we all know I used to be a hairdresser. I talk about it a lot. Going to school, going to cosmetology school, teaches you how to pass the state board, and that's it. That's all you learn. Okay, everything else that I wanted to learn, I had to find someone to work under. I had to find someone to basically become their personal assistant and learn all the things that I wanted to learn. Okay, you guys need to, I don't know, some of you maybe need to apprentice under someone or go work with someone. It just feels like it feels like you're being so stubborn for some reason, Sagittarius, and so rigid here. And your guides are like, this is why nothing is working. Like, I genuinely don't mean that as a mean thing, but if you are running up against walls and you are not getting the outcome you want, it's like your guides are telling you it's because you're doing something wrong, for lack of a better way to put it, because you're not where you need to be right now. You know, with the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck, I do feel like you are self-sabotaging a little bit here. There's a little bit with that Queen of Wands as well of like, oh, well then if it's not working this way, it's not meant for me. Is it not meant for you, or are you sabotaging? You know, I feel like, because your next two cards here are the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles. This could definitely be work for a lot of you that we're talking about. Obviously, it doesn't start and stop with work. It will bleed into other periods, other aspects of your life. I almost said other periods of your life. Like work translates into home, into romance, into everything else here. But with the Hierophant and that King of Pentacles, it's like you want some sort of success here. There's some sort of like recognition you're also looking for. But again, it just feels like you're waiting on it. You know, I don't have any other way to say that, really. It just feels like there's, okay, I see it, I'm looking at it, and then there's nothing. It's a very weird energy, I have to tell you. Like, it's a very, it feels like disorienting almost. Like you think, like you're looking at something, you're plugging all the things into the equation and you're getting the wrong answer and you're like, what's wrong here? What's not happening? Ace of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Ten of Cups. Yeah, I feel like some of you guys, the reason you're not going out of your comfort zone is because with that Ten of Cups, like you've been successful with whatever this is that you've employed now, that you're doing now. You've been successful with it in the past. Excuse me, I spit, I'm Italian. But now, as time progresses, things are changing. You know, the example my guides want me to give you is like, back in the day, you know, I was an ASM for a retail store. And back in that time, we're going back to like 2015. Oh my goodness, that's like 10 years ago. It was all paper applications. Bring in the application, drop your resume off, and we'll call you. Nowadays, if you go to that same store, I could imagine, where I worked, if I went there and was like, hey, I want to be rehired as an ASM, they'd be like, okay, put an online application in. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's like things are changing, the tools are shifting, and your perspective also has to shift here too, Sagittarius. If you, like, you can't go to some places with a resume and a paper application anymore. It's very niche if you can. You know, if I went to a mom and pop coffee shop, you know, I would bring my resume. Yeah, absolutely. They probably don't have an online application system. It's a mom and pop. There's probably 5 employees, you know, but if I went to a chain coffee place, they're going to tell me to apply online. You know, I feel like you have to change with the times a little bit here, Sagittarius. And just because something worked for you in the past doesn't mean it won't work for you now, but it may not work with the efficiency that you think it's going to work as, you know? Yeah. King of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. And I feel like because you're not learning this lesson, I feel like you feel very overburdened by it. Like, I feel like, because, yeah, Eight of Cups, you're self-sabotaging, Sagittarius. Stop it, okay? Because you're not listening to your intuition, because you're not changing the way you're moving, it's leaning you to be like, well, this isn't for me, I should just leave. Stop it, okay? You are definitely self-sabotaging, Sag, and you need to get a hold on that. You need to get a grip on it, okay? It is different. Like, the way my guides are saying this is, it would be different if you had exhausted every single avenue. Then, yes, maybe it's not the time. But I'm gonna be mean for a second, babe. You have not. You have exhausted maybe one avenue. And it's an avenue you've been using for 20 years. It's not helping you anymore. You need to find a new street to walk down. You need to find a new store to go to. You need to find a new friend to talk to. You have to change something in this equation, because right now you're spinning your wheels being like, I should just give up, when your guides are like, no, do not give up here. 10 of Pentacles. I see the future. You see the future here too. You know, that's a Raven moment. You know what you can get done. You know that your future is supposed to look a certain way, but it feels like you are so, again, determined, divine masculine, to like punch your way through the door. Babe, find a key. Okay, you've got like a door right in front of you, and you're like, well, I'll just body slam it down with brute force. That's not working here. Okay? I literally can't make it up. 5 of Cups, 5 of Swords. It's self-sabotage. I do feel like some of you need to work on as well believing that you are worthy of success. There's a little bit of fear of success here for you as well with that 5 of Cups and that 5 of Swords. Like, oh, well, maybe I'll self-sabotage because I don't think I'm going to be successful anyway. That could be a really big problem as to, like, why you're self-sabotaging, is the belief that you're not going to be successful anyway. You know, if you're going into this with the idea of, like, well, it's going to be bad, I'm not going to do it, it's going to suck, then you're going to be more likely to try to self-sabotage it. You're going to be more likely to try to pull the rug out from underneath you because on some level you believe that it's not going to work for you or you're not going to be successful. I'm telling you, 7 of Swords, babe, get out of your head here. You are so, I don't mean this in a mean way, it's just coming through. You are overcomplicating things tremendously for yourself right now. The best thing, Sag, you could do right now in this moment is circle back to the front, to the beginning, and start over and think different. I am begging you to embrace your inner empress, to embrace your divine feminine here, regardless of what your gender is and your gender expression is. Embrace the divine feminine and work on being more creative here. Okay? Because I will tell you also with the 2 of Wands and the Moon, you don't see the outcome because you aren't even giving the road a chance. Okay? So let's say, you know, I'll give you a real world example of this. Was when I first was in beauty school, I was working at this one salon and everyone told me, they were like, this is the best salon you could work at. You know, and I didn't see any other way out of it. I was just like, okay, well, this is the best salon. I'm going to get the best education here. But I was getting taken advantage of egregiously. I was getting jerked around. It was a very bad experience for like a year and a half. And at some point or another, I was like, there is no path forward for me because I was not even considering, go somewhere else, babe. I know it sounds crazy. You can look back at it now and I could be like, well, why wouldn't I just look somewhere else? But when you've put that much time into that one road, it can be very scary to jump to another road until you're really at your wit's end. And Sag, I'm here to tell you, you're at your wit's end. It feels like you have reached that breaking point where you're like, okay, if I don't leave where I am now, I will literally never do this again. Yeah, King of Swords, the Devil. Oh my God, get out of your head, Sagittarius. And the King of Cups. It feels like you are so consumed with fear and like uncertainty of like, if I go another way and it doesn't work, what am I gonna do? Babe, have more faith in yourself. Okay, this is not a fear of failure for you. Like, you're not afraid that the path won't work. You're afraid that you won't ever find a path that works, that you're not intelligent enough and you're not smart enough or you're not inventive enough or whatever it is for you. Change the narrative. Thought police yourself. When those thoughts come up, snatch them and be like, hey, that's false and I don't have to listen to you. So I'm not going to, and throw it away. Okay? You need to recognize that your fear is not that it won't work. Your fear is that you're not good enough to make it work, or you're not strong enough. Okay? This boils down to self-limiting belief in its most basic form. You know, with that King of Cups, remember that you are a manager of your own emotions. Your emotions don't control you. You control them. Ask them what they want from you. Give what they want. You know, sometimes I always tell my clients and my collectives, I think of emotions as like visitors to my house. You know, they knock on the door, they knock on the window, I open it up, I let them in, and I ask them what they need from me. Sometimes they say, sit on the couch and cry for 30 minutes. I do it. Sometimes they say, grab your giant squishmallow and don't move for 10 minutes. And I do that. Okay? You need to start asking your emotions what they want from you. And then don't be afraid to give it to them. Okay? Strengthen the Nine of Wands. I know that it can be scary to be overwhelmed with emotions because, again, that's the divine feminine for you. That's where you're feeling a little bit out of sorts. But you need to remember that you own your emotions. They don't own you. They are not driving you. You are driving them. Okay? This is not to say to dismiss them and be like, oh, that's wrong. I'm not going to deal with that now. You need to feel your way through it. But the key here is to remember, again, just keep telling yourself, I have dominion here. These are my emotions. They belong to me. I can manage them. Okay? What's the last one, please? For this pile? Judgment. It's a judgment moment. Okay, this is a big decision for you. Whatever this is, whatever the new avenue is, whatever the changing, the changes that's here. Okay, a movie just came through. This is odd. I don't know what this has to do for you. Maybe you need to watch the movie. The Shape of Water. That feels very random to me. I truly don't know how that relates to this, but I would maybe watch The Shape of Water and see if it has anything for you. But, okay, let's get you an oracle card. As always, we are using the Angelarium. This is my favorite oracle deck. It's stunning, but also reads us to filth. So, let's get you a message from the Angelarium. Can I get Sag mid-month, please? Sag mid-month July, please. Interesting. This is a good one. You guys got Cliffoth, the Shadowed Scion. Love this card, and you will see why. It's a great, great card, and it fits really with what we're talking about here. Where are you? It is number 69. Haha. Everyone keep the comments PG in the comments. Thank you. All right. If there is an aspect of ourselves we must not leave unknown, it is the shadowed self. Failing to acknowledge our darkest qualities lets them grow unchecked, pushing their roots through the landscape of our lives. The existence of our shadowed qualities cannot be erased, only managed. Treating these tendencies with careful patience gives us the power to weave them back into our identities in controlled ways. Creating space and acknowledgement for our other side contains its chaos, restricting the harm it causes to ourselves and others. Okay, Sag, babe, you got this. It's time to think outside the box. Embrace the divine feminine here. Change the way you're moving, change the avenue you're taking, and I promise you things will get easier, okay? I will end it there for you, Sag. That is your mid-month check-in, guys. If this reading resonated with you, or my reading style resonates with you, do consider liking and subscribing. We're on the road to 100 subscribers, which is so exciting. If you would like to engage with me on a live basis, I do go live where I read tarot 3 days a week on Twitch. You can find me Wednesday as well as Friday, so tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. So I will leave that there for you guys. I hope to see you all on Twitch one day, and if not, Sag, I will catch you in the next video, okay? Bye!